This is episode 230 of Super League Pod. Loads of sport this weekend, but the greatest game still just about stole most of our attention. We've got results, news, fan views, pool party anecdotes and conspiracy theories. It's a growing cast in NRL Britwatch and a tasty race for the playoffs and survival in Super League. Not PNG tasty, but more of that later in the quiz. Basically, we've got loads, so get strapped in, because it's SLP time. Hello listeners, welcome along to episode 230 of the Super League Pod. If it sounds a little bit different, it's because I'm recording somewhere a little bit different, and sadly the house has no carpeted floors as things stand. so we have not...
So you're having to be very careful as things stand.
Yes, definitely. And no carpets and no real... huge abundance of furniture either, so some echoey rooms at the moment, which we will be addressing, but bear with me whilst I sound a bit echoey, listeners. But I'm back from a week off thanks to Tim and Sarah Alan and Sarah.
I can't take responsibility.
Alan and Sarah for doing a fantastic job last week whilst I was unavailable. It's me, Mark, back with Tim, who I nearly gave false credit for this week.
Yeah, I was watching tennis.
Yeah. Did you enjoy the tennis?
I did, yeah, we had a good day. So, Monday night I'd actually gone to Heather's in preparation, and we'd basically, I walked in the door and, oh good, you're here, I need the second screen to watch another match. I was like, fair enough. Not hello, how are you? How was your day? Just give me the second screen.
Tell you what, you can tell you've been in that relationship a while now. She's just taking liberties.
Yeah. Then really good day at Wimbledon. Very very well organised. Like everything just worked. We went a bit later because she had school so she had to do one lesson in the morning and then left after that. And then went straight in. It only took us an hour to get there from North London. On a shuttle bus straight in, dropped us off right at the gate where we went in, just walked straight in, had our tickets on our court, went straight up and watched lots of different tennis. Saw Martina Navratilova.
Wow.
In the over 45s. She's still going.
Still hating on trans.
Yeah. Her and, well, not quite as much as Sharon Davis, but not that's not really a hard scale. But she was playing Anne Kyokoffong and Aranfa Sanchez Vicario in the doubles.
Kyokoffong's over 45?
Apparently.
Bloody hell. Although she is quite a senior in the British women's tennis, isn't she?
She's the Fed Cup captain.
Yeah, so that suggests some level of seniority, but that's surprising, isn't it? Yeah.
And unfortunately we just missed Jeremy Bates and Andrew Castle.
They played in the over 60s.
Well, it's a good job because I think I would have just given Andrew Castle abuse. It's the sort of thing that I probably would have got kicked out because I wouldn't have been able to hold back. Like, stop being so boring. Just piss off with John Inverdale somewhere. But we saw the first ever 12-12 match as well, where they went to a tiebreak after 12, which was the one of the British doubles players, Joe Salisbury, was involved in that one. So we got some Brits in and saw both the two men's doubles finalists, Cabal and Farah, and Mahou and whoever Mahou's partner is, Vassalin. We saw both of their quarter-final matches on the various courts, which is good. Got snuck onto number one court for a bit as well.
Is that like an end-of-day thing where...
Yeah, basically as people are walking out, the people just hand you their tickets to say, does anyone want these? And we just took them, and there was nobody there, so I don't really know why they were particularly checking at that point. They could have just let anyone in, but we took those and went up, which is good.
Who did you see on there?
That was Mahou and Vassalin.
Oh, okay.
In their doubles
so still
match.
Doubles, but higher seeds.
Yeah. And it was just the way it panned out. And then we went and sat on the hill to watch Joe Conter and her exit, which was good. But they got to see Henman Hill. That was nice.
She's becoming quite the Henman, really, isn't she? She's flattering to deceive at every turn, and
so yeah, suddenly dominating for patches. So she'll go through 2 or 3 rounds of absolutely blasting everyone away, because we saw it at the French when she was really under control, and then just has one match where she goes full Henman.
Yep. Well, that's Tennis League Pod. Let's who sponsors this episode of Super League Pod, Tim?
So this episode is sponsored by Little Warden. And if you have a website, then visit littlewarden.com and see what they can do to help you. They can help you with domain expiration checks, redirects, and all sorts of other important background web stuff they'll make simple for you. Vital alerts for hidden issues.
Excellent. Right, so what we're going to do today on the show, we're going to catch up on some of the news that was missed by last week's early show from Alan Scoots. They did an afternoon recording to miss anything important that might break that evening. I'm not sure. But that's worked out well for this episode. Plus England training squad news, which has come out today as we record on the Monday. And then fan views, they're not super high in numbers this week, but all of the Super League games were covered and some other games were covered as well, so that's pretty cool. State of Origins, one of the ones we'll get into, that was a thriller, and it was a bit of a tight squeeze, but the broadband was set up about half an hour before the game kicked off, so about 15 minutes before the scheduled kick-off time. Obviously.
Yeah.
But about half an hour before the game kicked off, my broadband in the new house was up and running, so I could watch it on the Sky Go. My Sky wasn't actually properly installed until Saturday, but that meant I got the Cricket World Cup final on the television, which was fantastic, very exciting, still contentious, lots of drama around that run, the extra runs, and whether we were given an extra run or not. But I still think Stokes might have lamped one of those last 2 balls for 4 if he needed to.
Yeah, I think it was about measured control.
Yeah,
but I was listening to it on the train coming back from Coventry yesterday, or coming back from rugby rather, and there was quite a few people on the train were clearly in touch with it and going. And so as soon as the Super Over was finished, there was a little cheer and then polite applause broke around the train carriage. It could not have been more English if it tried. It was hilarious.
It's the first time I've cheered in my living room to a cricket match since probably
2005.
No, Lancashire have had a couple of T20 finals days over the years that have got me off my seat, but yeah, probably the biggest reaction since the 2005 Ashes series for sure. Absolutely awesome. What a weird way to win, but
yeah.
But there you go. Right, we've got a shout out before we get into the news and all that. So 4020 magazine this month has a feature on our fan survey results. So you might remember that sort of May time we were running a big fan survey. Loads of people who listen to the show filled in the survey. Loads of people who don't listen to the show filled in the survey. I know that because nearly 3 times as many people as we get on an average weekly show, listens wise, filled in the survey. But that was fantastic. We've put a piece in the 4020 magazine. They were kind enough to accommodate us in their 8th birthday anniversary edition. That's out in the shops now. You can also get it online, so do go out and get a copy, and also make sure you tell 4020 that it was SLP featuring in the magazine that made you pick it up and read it and enjoy all the content that they have there, so people know I've written a report up on the results of the survey. That report has been shared with the RFL and with Super League already, and basically people who gave us their email addresses over the next week or so, when I find time in between non-SLP related life jobs, I'll be starting to send out emails which will include a copy of that survey, and it'll also include a copy of that report, on the survey, and it'll include links to the follow-up surveys we want people to do to get a bit more quality detail for the next sort of round of feedback we're going to make sure that the RFL Super League and hopefully the clubs get as well. If you're listening and you work for any of the clubs and you're interested, we can put together a little report for you guys. We've done one for Wigan Warriors already, so do get in touch, superleaguepod@gmail.com. Also, if you're listening and you don't think you gave us your email address when you filled in the survey, but you want to be involved in any follow-on surveys, also send us an email to superleaguepod@gmail.com. Just put something like fan surveys in the subject box, and when I get round to sending those out, the copies of the reports, I'll send one to you as well. So that's something we wanted to mention off the top this week, and over the next 2 weeks people will start seeing that. And if you do get the new surveys and you want to share them out as well with other people, by all means share the link to them. We're not fussed if it's new people who fill those in as well. It's just we're not going to do the wide release and big push as such on that, because it's going to be more questions, longer to fill in, that sort of stuff. But we'll send them out to anyone who wants to contribute. We're all about getting as many fan views in as possible on this show. And we're going to move on to the news, where we've had some fan views this week. A return of the Tom. So Mr. Andrews back in action. So let's get through and see what he had to say on this week's news.
So time for the news, and Wigan have confirmed that England international backs Dan Sargentson and George Williams will leave the Super League club at the end of the season. Standoff Williams, who's 24, is to head down under to join, guess who? The Canberra Raiders on a 3-year deal. English player in the NRL, what a surprise.
It's no longer the Green Machine, it's the GB Machine.
Yeah, I mean, what point do they have to change their name legally? With whom an undisclosed fee is agreed. Australian-born, English-bred utility back Sargentson, who's 26, has been linked with a move to Salford. Both Williams and Sargentson have won 2 grand finals with Wigan in 2016 and 2018. Meanwhile, Salford halfback Jackson Hastings, who's only 23, will join Wigan at the end of the season on a 2-year deal. Australian Hastings, who joined Salford from Manly Warringah Sea Eagles in 2018, had an NRL clause in his contract in the 2nd year.
Yeah.
And we had a fan view on this one.
Tom Andrews said, "My God, I did not see this coming. Not sure anybody did. What I'm wondering though, why haven't I seen a picture of Hastings in a Wigan shirt yet?" Well, that's because Wigan haven't had anyone in a shirt. They're not Hull FC. We don our signings with scarves, which is just as heinous a crime in some people's eyes. But I think that's more on Hastings than anyone else. Obviously, he's got a lot of respect for what Salford have given back into him as a person, and given him the opportunity that they gave him, and that opportunity has led to him now being potentially able to sign for a club that can reward him more financially, reward him more potentially with opportunities to play in finals, you would suspect, and also we're happy to put an NRL release clause into his contract, which was crucial. And as can be seen from the other part of that news story, Wigan is a club that generates players to a level that the NRL want to take them, which doesn't necessarily always work great for Wigan's own team, but then again, they still won 2 grand finals in 2016 and 2018 of late. Interesting note on Dan Sargentson here. Every single season that Dan Sargentson has been a Wigan Warriors player, Wigan Warriors have played in the grand final. He might not have always made that team through injury or what have you, but every single season he's been a Wigan Warriors player, they play in the grand final. So, Warrington Saints might not be all your way to this grand final this year.
Well, or it could just be a statistical anomaly that he's about to break.
Potentially. But Alan and Sarah sort of mentioned last week on Twitter when this news broke after they'd released the show that it's probably useful because it means I can comment on it. So it's the resident Wigan fan amongst the host group. And, for me, I absolutely adore George Williams. I think the criticism he gets...
I believe you once wrote him a love letter.
Well... more an encouragement for him to work on the flaws of his game, because the things that aren't flaws in his game are absolutely superb.